Former ring announcer and WWE ambassador, Lilian Garcia is the host, creator, and executive producer of the 5-star Chasing Glory podcast. The podcast is tremendously successful with over 4 million global downloads since August 2017. She's had everyone from Stone Cold to Bautista to Stephanie McMahon. Lilian gets people to open up and reveal things that no other interviewer has gotten from her guests. She also holds the honor of being the first female and Latina to host WrestleMania, the WWE's first decade diva, announcing the inaugural WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, and just so much more. If there's anyone that has chased glory and has found glory, it's Lilian Garcia. Thank you so much, Lilian.
Wow, what an intro. God, I laughed because I'm like, you gave it a ring announcement intro. I love it. Thank you.
Lilian, I got to give credit where credit is due. Stacy, who put this all together, sent me all that good info and all that good wordage to use, so I'm not going to steal the thunder from that. But it was so good. Lilian, I usually do that. I'll look up information and then I'll put my own intro together. But when I was reading Stacy's, I was like, this is great.
Why not? Exactly. I love it.
Chasing Glory. Let's talk about that first. That's really the thing that we're pushing here with WWE Evolution. The first women's pay-per-view that WWE has orchestrated is coming up. Tell us about Chasing Glory in your podcast.
Yeah, let me tell you, this has been a labor of love that has turned into something so much bigger than me, and it's so exciting where this show has gone and where it continues to. Sharing their stories of going through so in their lives, their obstacles, wins, their losses, their down moments, and how they're able to overcome them. Just literally the journey for glory, and how sometimes glory doesn't even look the way you was going to look, or feel the way you was going to feel, and so many lessons from and what they're dealing with, whether it's they're dealing with anorexia or a disorder, to be not knowing their or being abused with it, or I mean, there's some very heavy stories that have come out, but they've been so powerful and, like I always say, real raw, inspiring. And then leading up to Evolution, I really wanted to have the women back to back for a number of weeks, giving their story, and it's been incredible what they've shared, and to show that going into this Evolution is not just about a wrestling show or a wrestling pay-per-view. It really is all the hard work that the women have put into such a male-dominated industry, but also hearing people from like Seth Rollins saying, wow, I'm surprised it even took this long, to hearing men that are really appreciating the work that the women have done is just so empowering.
You just had Alexa Bliss on. That's what you're promoting this week on your podcast.
Yeah.
What was that like going into this big Evolution pay-per-view?
Well, it's great. I mean, I had Alexa over a year ago, and she just gave such a powerful interview and talking about how she nearly almost died twice from anorexia.
Yeah, when she was a cheerleader, she went through some really tough times as a teenager.
Very. She was very, judged on her looks from cheerleading and all, that led her to an eating disorder, landed her in the hospital 2 times. One time she was 90-something pounds, the other time she was 80-something pounds. So the doctors have said she cannot have another bout of an eating disorder because she will not make it. Her heart will not make it. So to see how far she has come from that and overcome it, and how strong she is in the ring, and how she's owning her body, and she's being so inspiring for other people. And I myself have shared how I went through bulimia, which is the other, eating disorder. So, sharing these stories, I think, is very powerful for everyone. And having Alexa on again was great, because she even talked about her love of Trish Stratus, and now how she's getting to be in the ring with Trish, and then in the ring with Lita and Mickie James. It's going to be a very powerful match.
Well, you mentioned bulimia. Lilian, what was that like for you? And put into perspective for anybody else that might be listening, the sense of just trying to overcome such things like that and being an inspiration.
Well, I became bulimic because literally it just became this thing of, oh, you mean that I could eat anything I want? Because I love food. I love food. I will not deny. I could never be anorexic because I love food way too much. But somebody told me, they're like, so you could actually eat all this food and then just purge it. And at the time, there wasn't all this research to tell you how bad it was for you, what it was doing for your body. So at the time, I was like, oh, okay. So, my friends were doing it, and I'm like, all right. So I started purging. And then I started purging it as a way for control. It became more than just body. It just became something that I can control, and it became this way of releasing stress. So I would eat, and then I would purge, and it was kind of like a release of stress. But what ended up happening was just such a spiral downward. It just, oh my God, I felt so sick. I'll never forget, at my worst, when I finally seeked help, was when I drove to 7-Eleven, I got a bunch of food there, I would eat it, and then I'd go to McDonald's and I would purge it in the bathroom of McDonald's, and then I would turn around and get a bunch of food at McDonald's, and then I would go to the next location and I would purge there, and it 15 times that day. I was completely out of control, and I'll never forget when I purged that 15th time, I purged blood. And that was my wake-up call of, oh my God, what am I doing to myself? And so I seeked help, and when I seeked help is when I found out how bad it was. And I was like, no wonder my hair is falling out. No wonder my teeth were getting clear. They were kind of getting gray. And I'm like, oh, that's from the bulimia. I was getting heartburn all the time. Oh, that's from me and the acid and bulimia. Like, I didn't know any better. And so when I found out then, it was a psychological thing of how to disassociate the control from the purging, and also how to be okay with, yeah, I do want to eat donuts today, and eating donuts, but then the mental game that, oh my God, I'm going to gain weight, people are going to call me fat, and then, so how to deal with all of that and the control. And Weight Watchers is the thing that I always say helped me and saved me, because I didn't know, until Weight Watchers, I didn't know how to portion control, because until that time, I never had a body, I never had problems with food. I had a high metabolism. And then I hit college and started my metabolism slowed down. So when I went to Weight Watchers, they taught me how to eat and what I was eating, why I was gaining weight, and so the education of that is what saved me.
Did you have to go through any of this as you got older, and even during your time during WWE?
Oh, when you have an eating disorder, it kind of follows you, and thank God I have full control on it completely now. I don't even have the desire. Thank God. It's a blessing to not have to think that way anymore. But it did linger for a few years, for sure. And when I say it lingered, it wasn't as bad as that time of purging 15 times, but I would say that maybe it would come once or twice a year. And I would beat myself up going, really? How you go this long? Excuse me real quick. Sorry. You would go this long, and then, it would creep up, and you would have a moment of weakness. But I remember that. I was like, Lil, you've gone from 15 times a day, at your worst, to 1 or 2 times a year. Give yourself a break. You can keep working on it. You're doing good. It will one day get to where you don't do anything. I think what didn't work for me is that I would purge, and then I would mark that date, and then I would be like, okay, I'm never going to purge again. And then I'd continue to mark that, see that date as, okay, you celebrated 1 month, all right, you celebrated 2 months. And I know that I think that's what AA does, when you're recovering alcohol.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. I was going to say it's almost like sobriety and going through that.
right? But what didn't work, it didn't work for me counting the months, because I remember that every time that I was about to make 1 year, I would purge. I don't know whether it was self-sabotage or what, but I just remember that final time, I don't even, I'll be honest with you, I don't remember the last time I purged, because I just decided not to remember the date, not to even think about it, and not to celebrate months or years or any of that. And now I can say it's been years, but I don't know how many years, because I just refused to even think about that, because for some reason it was a little bit too much in my face, if that makes sense.
It is, because it became not only a physical thing, but also a mental thing.
Yeah, and I kept obsessing, this day, okay, I made it a month. Okay, I made it 2 months. Okay, and so it became like I was just way too engulfed in how long have I not purged, instead of not having a date and then just being like, everything's good, just being normal.
Right, because it was still on your mind. Even setting those goals and reaching those goals, but it still was on your mind. So the memories were still there, and it wasn't like just trying to shut it out. It was like reaching the goal, but then also thinking about it again. I made it 6 months. Oh, it's been 6 months. Great. Oh, a year. Okay. And still there, it's still on your mind. Did you find yourself...
No, it's not.
Well, the thing is, did you find yourself too... I'll wrap one more question on this, then we'll move on and wrap it up. But the thing is, like even in WWE, because the schedule is so crazy, all the events you guys do, all the shows and everything, so when you're entrenched in that schedule, and obviously, of course, the look is also important too. So, did you find you were so busy that helped you not think about it, or then every once in a while you still did think about it?
Oh, no, you would still think about it. I would sometimes definitely think about it, but when I started remembering what all it was doing, the acid reflux, the hair falling, the teeth going clear, the not feeling well, all of that, I say, no, that does not make me want to. In other words, like the downside of it was so big that I was like, no, you just need to have more control, or just go to the gym, or do it in a healthy way of working it off. And also don't obsess about your body all the time either. Like, get rid of the scale. It's literally about, do your clothes still fit the size that you want? My clothes have fit for years. So that's all I go by. I don't buy anything. If I notice that my clothes are getting tight, I don't go buy bigger clothes. I think that's a big mistake, because that's allowing yourself to then grow into those bigger clothes. If my clothes start getting tight, then I go, okay, time to up it up, in the gym, time to get a little bit leaner, to watch a little bit more on the foods and the carbs and all that kind of stuff. And sure enough, it always ends up working out.
And then, Lilian, did you also talk with others in WWE about this? Or you don't have to mention names if it's private for them, but anyone else that might have been dealing with things like that? Or more or less, did you handle it on your own and didn't confront that?
I didn't confront it. Nobody was talking about it. And what was so great is when Alexa spoke about it, now I can't remember if I already left. Yes, I had already left when I had her on. But then what happened was Natalya came on my show, and then she let it out that she had an eating disorder. And I'll never forget, like in the middle of the interview, she goes, oh my God, I've never said this, I've never shared this. And she was freaking out a little bit just because she was worried about how it was going to get taken. But man, people were just so grateful to her for opening up, and they were like, oh, this happened to me, now I can talk about it. So it gave everybody an opportunity to, discuss it. So then, when I came back to WWE, like to do a guest spot or something like that, I remember talking to Natalya, and I remember talking to Alexa, and we were in the room and going, isn't it crazy, like all this time that we spend with each other in the locker room, and we never spoke out about this. And now, because of Chase and Glory, we can actually be upfront and speak about it and have other girls speak about it as well, which is, it's been kind of like a support group, which has been incredible.
And that is super, and it probably has helped a lot of people too that'll listen to it and go to Twitter and do that and see you all talking about it, because you guys are heroes and admired and things like that. And when you're able to use your Chasing Glory podcast platform as one of the things to reach people, it just puts everything in perspective, and just how strong and how powerful. You could have fun, you could discuss important issues, and also share things like that with everybody. It just makes the podcast formula and what you're doing with Chasing Glory just that much stronger.